Hello everyone, welcome to BISP Solutions. I am Preeti, working as Oracle Fusion Functional Consultant. So in today's video, we will see some of the setups related to project portfolio management. First, we will take an overview of the topics that we have completed till date. So we have seen how to create the implementation user, and there are some roles that you have to provide to the user, that is project manager role, project accountant role, project administrator role, and project billing specialist. After providing these roles only, your user will be able to do the configurations for project portfolio management. Then we have seen that project is the module that work on the business unit level. So these are the tasks related to business unit. Then we have seen how to create the department. So department is nothing but our cost centers. Then after creating the department, we classify that department into the organization. So there are two type of organization that we use in the project module. One is project task owning organization. So when you create the project, at that time you will use the project task owning organization, and the second type of organization is project expenditure organization. So when you create any kind of expense in the project, then you will use the project expenditure organization. Then we have seen there is an additional functionality provided by the Oracle in the Oracle Fusion. Earlier in the EBS, you did not have this functionality called project unit. Project unit is used for line of business. When your organization have different line of business, at that time we will create the project unit for each line of business, and it is used for reporting purpose. Then in the next session, we have seen how to create the organization tree. After you classify the department into the organization, what you have to do, you have to create the organization tree, where you have to give all the organization that you are about to use in your project. You have to mention all those organization in the tree. If in case you are not giving any organization in the organization tree, then you won't be able to use the organization in the project. Then in the configure project accounting business function, you have to assign the organization hierarchy that you have created, so that system can read or can pick the organization from this task for your project purpose. Then we have seen in the general ledger module, we use the accounting calendar, and in the project module you can use the same accounting calendar as you are using in the general ledger module. But Oracle provides you with the additional functionality here, that in the project module you can use the accounting calendar, which is different from your general ledger module calendar, and you will call that calendar as project accounting period. Then we have seen how to link the implementation user with the employee user. Then we have seen how to create the templates, and while creating the template, you will be in need of project plan type. Project plan type we use for planning and for scheduling purpose. In the template we create the task structure, and then while creating the project we have to assign one template. Then we have seen for creating the project, a user should have data access for project accountant role, project administrator role, project manager role at business unit level. So project administrator role is used for creating the project, and project manager role is used for approving the project. Then we use the project accountant role for creating the transactions. Then in the day 5 topic, we have seen how to create the revenue category, expenditure category, and how to measure these revenue and expenditure. So for that we will create unit of measure, and to all these three tasks we have to assign while creating the expenditure type class. Then we have seen how to create the project class category, service type, project status, project roles, and resource class. Then we have seen how to create the project plan type and where to use these project plan types. So project plan type works on the task level, and with this task we can use for the scheduling purpose and for planning purpose. And in the financial plan type, it is used for creating the budget in the project. It works at project level. Then we have seen what is the rate schedules. Whenever you will assign any resource in the project, the rate for that resource will be picked from the task rate schedule. Then we have seen how to create the labor costing rules. Then we have seen how to assign the rate schedule and labor costing rules in the organization costing rules. So organization costing rule is the task where you have to associate your rate schedules and labor costing rules with your business unit. Then, as I told you that in the project module, at the time of creating the transaction in the project, the system will transfer your entry to general ledger module. For that purpose, you have to do the configuration for subledger accounting. So we have seen how to create the description rule. Then we have seen how to create the mapping rule. Then we have seen how to create the account rules and how to assign those account rules in the journal entry rule set. Then we have seen how to create the accounting method for the project purpose, and while creating the accounting method you have to assign the journal entry rule set. Then we have seen how to activate the status of subledger journal entry rule set assignment through the task. We can do the same from the accounting method task, but by this task, that is activate subledger journal entry rule set assignment, you can activate the just accounting method and subledger journal entry rule set. Then once you will be done with creating accounting method, how system will know that which accounting method to be picked. So for that purpose you have to go to the specify ledger option that you will find in your financial reporting structures functional area. There you have a different or specific field for SLA configurations. In the field you have to mention the accounting method there. Then we have seen how to create the transaction source, what is the document and document entry for those transaction source. Without creating the transaction source you won't be able to create the transaction in the project. Now in today's session we will see what is the project standard cost collection flex field. The cost collection flex field helps you to capture product specific attributes on actual cost and commitment transactions. The project costing descriptive flex field captures a complete set of transaction attributes in source applications and displays them in Oracle Fusion project costing. The cost collection flex field is available for use on pages such as the manage unprocessed cost page from where you can create transactions, and on the various create cost ADFTI Excel spreadsheets. It is also displayed on purchase orders, supplier invoice, distribution and expense reports in source application. Now let's move to our application to see how to create it practically. Go to setup and maintenance. Select project financial management here. Now go to project costing base. So it is not a mandatory setup, but if in case you need to create your own standard cost collection flex field, you can create there. You can see here the task, that is manage project standard cost collection flex field. Now click on edit. So it is a predefined values which are available here. It is provided by the Oracle. So this is a context sensitive segments. So context sensitive segment is used here. It is linking it with your other modules. Now you can see here, this is account payable distribution, invoice distribution, invoice line, expense report, and then there it comes to project all, project expenditure batch. So go to project all. So you can see here, these are the predefined flex fields which are provided by the Oracle. That is project ID, task ID, expenditure item date, expenditure type ID, organization ID, contract ID, reserve attribute, billable flag, capitalized flag, working type ID. Now when you will scroll it little down, now from 220 to 310 you can provide your flex field with as per your business requirement. So you can see here the name user defined. So these are the user defined flex fields. If you want to make any changes, you can make it from here, but from 11 to 80 you won't be able to make any changes. If you are adding any line in any other module, then you have to add the same in the project. Say so this is the invoice distribution that is related to accounts payable module. If you are adding any line here, then you have to add the same line in the project also. Then only it will work properly. Each cost from any of the module to project will be routed through costing flex field. So for whatever you are using, whatever the flex fields you are using for the costing purpose, you have to give it here. So right now I am not making any changes to this existing cost collection flex field. If in case you have any requirement as per your business, then you have to give the flex field in the user defined flex fields, and then it will be able to be used in your projects. Now click on save and close. And if you have made any modification in the existing project costing details or standard cost collection flex field, then you have to deploy this flex field for syncing all the changes that you have made in the respective task. Now we will discuss the next task, that is project foundation value set. This is also not a mandatory setup, but if you want to track the asset on some additional criteria, then you can create value set as per your business requirement, and you have to link the same in the descriptive flex field. You can see here the task manage project foundation value set. Click on this create icon. Give the name here. say I am creating the value set for the project number. So I want to track my asset on the basis of project number also. So I am creating the value set for the same. So I am taking the module as common here. Validation type is format. Value data type, I am taking it as character, where I can take the number, also the words. Now in the value subtype, it should look like text, and length I am taking at 20. Now click on save and close. So this is how I have created the value set for project number. Let's search here. So you can see the manage value tab is faded out because I have taken the validation type as format only. If I would have taken it as independent, then you can give the values here, but right now I have taken it as format. Now click on save and close. Now whatever the value sets you are creating, you have to assign the same in the manage project foundation descriptive flex field. So this is our next task. If while creating any task in the project, you want some information to be displayed additionally, then you can give it here in the descriptive flex field. So I have created the value set for project number. So I want that project number to be displayed additionally, so I will mention that, or I will assign the same in the descriptive flex field. This is used to capture the additional information as per your business requirement. So this is the task, that is manage project foundation descriptive flex fields. Search, click on blind search. So these are all the descriptive flex field that are available under project foundation. So go to project descriptive flex field. You can see the deployment status here as complete. Now when I will make any changes to it, it will show the incomplete status. Now go to edit icon. So this is the descriptive flex field which is already created, and here the global segments are already created for master project and location. Now if you want to add the additional segment, you have to go to the create icon, then scroll it little down, context sensitive segments. It means when you want to use the descriptive flex field specifically, say if you want to use it for specific country or business unit, you will use it. Right now I am creating the global segment for project number, so for that click on this create icon, give the name here. Give the description in the description text box. So if you want to enable this segment, you have to enable this checkbox. Say in case or at any time of your project you want to disable this segment, then you can come here and you can disable this checkbox, then you won't be able to use this segment in the project. Now in the column assignment you have to give the data type, so I am taking it as character. Now whatever the next attribute available in your system will take that automatically. If you want to change the attribute number, you can select from this list. Now as I told you, the value set that we have created have to be assigned here. So for that, go to this drop down list and search for your value set that you have created. So this is the value set that we have created for project number. Now why this required checkbox is here. If you enable the checkbox, then at project level system will force you to enter the project number or this segment value. Without entering this, you will not be able to proceed further. So if I will enable this checkbox, this field will become, or the segment information will become mandatory. Without filling this, system will not allow you to proceed further. Now I am not enabling this checkbox. I want to keep this segment value as optional. Now in the initial default, it is not mandatory, so I am leaving it blank, and I want to enable it for BI. Then we will be able to use it in the BI reporting. Now click on save and close. Again click on save and close. You can see here the segment that we have created now. Click on save and close and then click on done. Now let's discuss some more tasks which are not mandatory, but you should have idea about it. So go to manage foundation attachment categories. Now if you are using any kind of attachments in the project, then you can select it here. Now for creating attachment works on the user level. For creating the attachment category type, you have to click on this create icon. Now here you have to give the attachment category name here, then which user can use which kind of attachment category, you can assign it here. Then for which module you are creating the attachment, you have to mention it in the module field. So in most of the cases we don't use the attachment category, so I am leaving it blank right now. So click on save and close. So these are the tasks that we have already covered. Let's see which are the tasks which are left. So go to manage project priority values. Now you can see here you can set the priority of the project. So you can see the lookup type as extension. When the lookup type is showing as extension, then you can create your own values. So these are the predefined values which are provided by the Oracle, but on the top of that you can create your own priority and you can assign the same while creating the project. So these are the priorities which are provided by the Oracle, that is high, low, medium. If in case your project has some different kind of priority due to lookup value as extension, you can create your own priority type and assign the same while creating the project. Now go to project node type. So this lookup is also showing the status as extension. So these are the predefined node types provided by the Oracle. If you want to maintain any information at project level or task level while creating the project, then we have to select the node type. So in most of the cases or in most of the project we don't use the node type, but in case you want to create the node type, then here you have to select the node type, or you can add your own node type here. These are the all node types which are provided by the Oracle. These are the predefined node types. Then you have to map this project node type with the project node type mapping task. Now here we will map the project node type that we have created as per the business object. So according to the business object, you can map the project node type here. So this is just an overview of these transactions or tasks. Now there is a very important task, that is manage project status, that we will discuss today. Go to manage project statuses task. So project status is very important task. Based on the project status only you will be able to create the transaction in the project. In the project, status control is very important. Based on these controls only you will be able to create the transactions. So these are the project status, and when you create the project status, then it is very mandatory to us to assign or to link it with the system status. So these are the status and these are the system status to which you want to link your project status. So these are the predefined project status. When you create your own project status, you have to link it with the system status, and then which status can control which functions, you can enable it here. So in the project status control are very important. Based on these controls only you can be able to create transaction. Now we will see how to create the project status. So if I want to use the status other than the status which are predefined by the Oracle, or I can say I want to use the status which are created by us as per our business requirement, then for that we have to go to this create icon, and we have to keep in mind one thing, that one of our status should have status as initial project status. So say I have my first project status as PPM proposal. Now select the status type as project. Now I have to link this project status with the system status, so I am taking it as draft. Give the description here, and here give the start date from when you will be able to use this project status in your project. Now say I am taking this project status as the initial project status. See, when I enable this checkbox, that is initial project status, enable workflow will be faded out. Also you won't be able to give the status control for the same. You won't be able to enable the status control because we can only create the transaction in the project when the status is approved. Due to initial status, the enable workflow checkbox is faded out. Also status control is disabled. Now let's create next project status. So my next status is for submission. Select the status type as project, and then I'm linking this project status with system status. Give the description here. And now here give the date from when this project status will be into effect. Now I will discuss this workflow later. So now you can see in the submission status, you can select the status control here. What kind of the transaction you will be able to do in the project while your project is having status as submit. Say I want my project to do the functions only if that project have the status as approved. So for that I am disabling these checkboxes at the submission level. I don't want my project to create any kind of transaction. So I am disabling all the controls here. Then move to next status. Select status type, then select, say when my project status is approved, I will link it with the system status as active, and at the time of active status only I want my project to create transactions. So for now this status I will enable the checkboxes for status control. Select the date here. So I am enabling all the status control, and all the transaction related to these status control will be allowed by the status, and you will be able to pass any transaction related to these status control. Again click on add icon. Select the system status as pending close. So when my status of the project is under pending close situation, then I don't want all type of transaction to be allowed to be passed in that project. So what I will do, I will allow the adjust transactions, but I will not allow to pass the capitalized asset transaction. Also I don't want to allow the transactions related to capitalized interest. Yes, a user can create the burden transaction when your project is having the status as pending close, but I will not allow to create any new transaction when the status of the project is pending close. Also I will allow for progress reporting by team members, summarize project data. So these are the transactions that I want my project to create while having the status as pending close. Again go to add icon, and now we will have our last status as close. seen that when the system status is closed, system is automatically disabling all these checkboxes, because when the project status is on closed, you won't be able to create any transaction. So by default, system is disabling all the status controls. Now we will discuss how to create the workflows for these project status. Now go to projects PPM submit. I want to enable this status for workflow, so enable this checkbox. Now when you will submit your project for submission purpose and it is under submit status, if the submission proposal is accepted, then it will move to your next status, that is approved. And what if in case it is rejected by the project manager, then it will go back to the PPM proposal status. So if at the submission level your project is accepted, then it will be having the status as approved. But in case it got rejected by your management, then it will go to your previous status, that is PPM proposal. In this way the workflow will work. Now here in the next allowable statuses, you have to mention the name of the expected next statuses. So what are the possible next allowable statuses? Either it will go to approve or it will go to proposal. So these are the next possible statuses. So mention it here. By providing these values, you are reducing the chances of doing mistake, because when you are mentioning the name of the next allowable statuses here, the project will not have any other status. Either it will have proposal status or approved status. So there will be no chance of mistake. Okay, so earlier it was not visible the project status that we have created. So again go to PPM submit. Now enable it for workflow. Now scroll it little down. First we have to remove this status name, and now give the name of your own status here. Okay, click on create icon, select the next possible statuses, that is PPM proposal and PPM approved. Click on save here. Now come to PPM pending close. Allow this for workflow. And now in case you have submit your project for closing purpose, now if in case your management wants you to make the required modification in that closed project, then it will get rejected and it will go back to the status as PPM approved. So in case your project pending close request is getting rejected, then it will come to your previous status, that is PPM approved. And now in case your management is satisfied with your project and it is getting passed by them, then it will move to your next status, that is PPM closed. So in the case the project got accepted, it will go to the next status, that is closed, and in case it got rejected, then it will go to your previous status, that is PPM approved. Also, you have to mention the next allowable statuses, or you can say next possible statuses here. So give the name, click on this create icon. So what are the next allowable statuses? These both are the next allowable statuses. Either it will go to closed when it is accepted, or it will go to approved status if it is rejected. Now in all the statuses we have to give the next allowable status. So come to PPM approved. What is the next allowable status here? So you can see here, after approved, what is the next allowable status? It is pending close. So we have to mention it here. This is for creating the proper structure for the workflow we are doing this. If in case there is no workflow, but you have to maintain the structure for this workflow, so when there will be status of approved, what is the next allowable status in this case? The next status is PPM pending closed. Now come to PPM closed. What is the next allowable status? So after this your project will be ended and you have to select it here as none. After this there will be no activity. So in this way you can create the status for the project, and this is a very mandatory setup in the project module. So you have to keep in mind, either you can use the predefined statuses that are provided by the Oracle in your project, or you can create your own project status. But while creating your own project status, you have to link it with the system status, and you can also enable the workflow. While creating the workflow, you have to give the next allowable statuses. Also, while creating the project status, you have to enable very carefully the status control for each of the status. Click on save and close. So in today's session we have seen what is the standard cost collection flex field. Then we have seen, if in case you want to track the project on some additional criteria, then you have to create the value set as per your own business requirement, and then in the descriptive flex field you have to assign that value set. If you want to display some additional information in the project or task level, you can create the value set, and then you can create the segment while using that value set in it. Then we have seen, if we are using any kind of attachment, then we have to create that attachment category, and that attachment category will be created at the user level. Then we have seen how to create the priority values for the project. You can use the predefined priority values, and also we have an extendable lookup in the priority values. There you can create your own priority values as per your business requirement. Then we have seen, if you want to use the note in the project, then you have to create the note type and you have to do the note mapping. And then we have seen a very mandatory setup, that is project status. So this is all for today. Thank you so much for joining the session. Have a good day. If in case you have any query, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you so much.